You never knew. Think you know everything about the United States? Well, buckle up because in the next few minutes, I'm going to blow your mind with some of the most surprising, bizarre, and flat-out amazing geography facts about the U.S. You'll learn things that even the most patriotic American probably doesn't know. From hidden rivers to massive states that aren't where you think they are, get ready to have your perception of U.S. geography flipped upside down. Hey everyone, welcome to the channel where we dive deep into mind-blowing facts that you never knew you needed. In today's video, we're talking about U.S. geography, but not the boring stuff you learned in school. Nope, we're getting into the unexpected, the little-known, and the just plain weird. By the end of this video, you'll be the friend that always has a fun fact ready to drop at the next party. So, let's dive into 30 geography facts about the U.S. that you never knew. Let's get started. Fact 1. The Kansas City Chiefs don't play in Kansas. Most people assume that since they're called the Kansas City Chiefs, they must play in Kansas, right? Wrong. Their home games actually take place in Arrowhead Stadium, which is located in Kansas City, Missouri, not the state of Kansas. It's a simple mix-up that even seasoned football fans sometimes get wrong. Fact 2. Missouri has the longest river in the U.S., not the Mississippi. The Mississippi River is famous, but it's actually the Missouri River that takes the crown for being the longest river in the United States. Stretching an incredible 2,341 miles, it's only about 1 mile longer than the Mississippi. But hey, a win is a win. Fact 3. Alaska isn't the least populous state. Alaska is famous for its wilderness and extreme remoteness, but it's not the least populous state. That title goes to Wyoming, which has just about 580,000 residents, compared to Alaska's 730,000. So next time you think of isolation, think Wyoming, not Alaska. Fact 4. Not all U.S. states observe daylight saving time. We all love to complain about the clocks changing twice a year, but did you know that some states don't bother with it at all? Hawaii and most of Arizona, aside from the Navajo Nation, don't observe daylight saving time, meaning they get to enjoy consistent sleep schedules while the rest of us struggle. Fact 5. The U.S. capital wasn't always Washington, D.C. Most of us think of Washington, D.C. as the obvious capital of the United States. But did you know that the very first capital was actually New York City? It was there that George Washington took the oath of office. Philadelphia also served as a temporary capital, but NYC holds the title as America's first. Fact 6. A fragment of Africa lies beneath the U.S. This one might sound a bit crazy, but a piece of Africa is stuck beneath the southeastern United States. Over millions of years, geological shifts caused a fragment of the African continent to become wedged beneath what is now the eastern U.S. Isn't that wild? Fact 7. You can see Russia from Alaska. Okay, this might sound familiar, but it's actually true. If you're standing at Cape Prince of Wales in Alaska, you're just 50 miles from mainland Russia. On a clear day, you can actually see it. That's a crazy geographical fact that not many people know. Fact 8. You could fit the world's population in Texas. Texas is big. But did you know it's really big? Big enough that technically you could fit the entire global population, around 8 billion people, inside its borders. Granted, we wouldn't be very comfortable, but it's wild to think about. Fact 9. Alaska is bigger than Texas by a mile. Well, not just a mile, more like hundreds of thousands of square miles. While Texas might be known as the biggest state in the continental U.S., Alaska dwarfs it by more than double. At over 660,000 square miles, Alaska is massive. Fact 10. The shortest river in the world is in Montana. Montana may be known for its stunning mountains and sprawling landscapes, but it's also home to the shortest river in the world. The Roe River is just 200 feet long. That's about half the length of a football field. Not exactly a record you expect from the Big Sky State. Fact 11. Mount Everest isn't the tallest mountain on Earth. Wait, what? Hear me out. If you measure from base to summit, Hawaii's Mauna Kea is actually taller than Mount Everest. Mauna Kea rises about 33,500 feet from its base under the sea, making it the highest mountain on Earth by that measure. Fact 12. Route 66 isn't the longest highway. It may be the most famous, but Route 66 isn't the longest highway in the U.S. That title belongs to U.S. Route 20, which stretches over 3,365 miles from Boston, Massachusetts, all the way to Newport, Oregon. So if you want a true coast-to-coast road trip, Route 20's got you covered. Fact 13. Alaska is both the westernmost and easternmost state. This fact always surprises people. Alaska is the westernmost state because of its location in the Pacific. But thanks to the Aleutian Islands, which stretch across the 180th meridian, Alaska is also the easternmost state in the U.S. Sorry, Maine. Fact 14. Maine is the closest U.S. state to Africa. Speaking of Maine, here's a fun fact. It's actually the closest U.S. state to Africa. From Quoddy Head, Maine, you're only about 350 miles away from Morocco. Not what you'd expect from New England, right? Fact 15. Florida isn't the southernmost U.S. state. Key West is often thought of as the southernmost point of the U.S., but it's actually Hawaii that holds that title. Hawaii's southernmost point, known as Ka'lae, is about 1,500 miles closer to the equator than Key West. Fact 16. Los Angeles used to have a much longer name. Los Angeles wasn't always just L.A. When the city was founded, its original name was a bit of a mouthful, El Pueblo de Nuestra Señora, la Reina de Los Ángeles de Porciúncula. Try fitting that on a postcard. Fact 17. Only one U.S. state is triple landlocked. Nebraska has the unique distinction of being the only U.S. state that's triple landlocked. That means you'd have to travel through at least 3 other states to reach an ocean, no matter which direction you go. Fact 18. Despite being landlocked, Wyoming has islands. Even though Wyoming is landlocked, it has around 30 named islands. These islands are located in the state's lakes, like Yellowstone Lake and Jackson Lake. So if you're looking for an island getaway in the middle of the U.S., Wyoming's got you covered. Fact 19. The U.S. borders 3 oceans. Most people know that the U.S. borders both the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. But did you know it also borders the Arctic Ocean? Alaska's northern coastline extends into Arctic waters, giving the U.S. access to a third, much colder, ocean. Fact 20. The smallest town in the U.S. has just 1 resident. Ever heard of Monowai, Nebraska? It's the smallest incorporated town in the U.S. with exactly 1 resident. The sole inhabitant, Elsie Eiler, is the town's mayor, bartender, and librarian. She runs the whole place. Fact 21. Some skyscrapers in New York have their own zip codes. New York City's skyscrapers are so massive that some of them have their own unique zip codes. For instance, the Empire State Building and the Chrysler Building are big enough to warrant their own postal codes. Now, that's what you call big business. Fact 22. The Statue of Liberty is actually in New Jersey waters. Yes, you read that right. Even though the Statue of Liberty is a symbol of New York City, it technically stands in the waters of New Jersey. A long-standing debate between the 2 states, but geographically, New Jersey wins this one. Fact 23. The U.S. has a point of inaccessibility. The continental U.S. has a point that's the farthest away from any ocean. It's called the Continental Pole of Inaccessibility. This spot is near the town of Allen, South Dakota, about 1,030 miles from the nearest coast. If you want to be as far from the ocean as possible in the U.S., this is your destination. Fact 24. Death Valley is the hottest place on Earth. Death Valley, California, holds the record for the hottest temperature ever recorded on Earth, a blistering 134 degrees Celsius, 56.7 degrees Celsius, measured in 1913. Not only is it the hottest place in the U.S., it's the hottest place anywhere on the planet. Fact 25. The U.S. has more coastline than you think. While you might think of places like California or Florida when it comes to U.S. coastlines, did you know that Alaska alone accounts for more coastline than the rest of the U.S. combined? Alaska's coastline stretches over 6,640 miles, making up about 50% of the entire country's coast. Fact 26. Lake Superior holds 10% of the world's fresh water. Lake Superior, the largest of the Great Lakes, holds a staggering 10% of the world's fresh water. It's so big that it contains enough water to cover North and South America in 1 foot of water. Now that's a big lake. Fact 27. The U.S. has more lakes than any other country. Speaking of lakes, did you know that the U.S. has more lakes than any other country in the world? With over 250,000 lakes, many of which are natural, it's a paradise for anyone who enjoys freshwater activities. Fact 28. Minnesota has more shoreline than California. Even though California is known for its beaches, Minnesota, the land of 10,000 lakes, actually has more shoreline. If you add up the shores of all of Minnesota's lakes, it exceeds the total shoreline of California's Pacific coast. Fact 29. The tallest sand dunes in North America are in Colorado. Colorado might be known for its Rocky Mountains, but it also has the tallest sand dunes in North America. The Great Sand Dunes National Park is home to dunes that reach over 750 feet tall, which is higher than the Seattle Space Needle. Fact 30. Only one U.S. state has a name that ends in K. Here's a fun one. New York is the only U.S. state whose name ends with the letter K. It's a quirky little trivia fact, but once you realize it, it sticks with you. Alright folks, that's it for today's video. I hope I've left you with some surprising new facts about U.S. geography that you can share with your friends. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more mind-blowing facts like these. And drop a comment below. Which fact shocked you the most? Or did I miss any hidden gems? I'd love to hear what you think. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.